How to be masculine as a man to find, attract, and keep the right girlfriend or wife. If you're a kind, hardworking man, but you feel a little bit lost because you see a lot of contradicting information on Instagram or in other places on the internet on what it means to be a real man, today I'm giving you the truth, the ultimate truth on how you can be maturely masculine, not the extreme of dominating her, locking her up in the basement, taking voting rights away from her, being a dominating piece of shit, but also not being a weak soy boy. A healthy middle way that allows you to create attraction, to respect yourself as a man, and at the same time, give her the ultimate freedom to live life exactly how she wants to live it, so you can both be as happy as humanly possible, ideally forever. Sounds like a big promise. Let's dive in. First, most likely you're somebody who's already nice and kind. You're already making an effort to make people feel comfortable around you. So I'm going to start with you having to become a little bit more strong and boundary setting and certainty creating, if you will, because the number one thing that you lack is certainty. I see it with clients from all around the world all the time. And some of them tell me, David, I've had 30 dates in the last 6 months. I just can't find the right one. Others haven't had any. Even if you're doing well in your career or your business, you lack certainty when it comes to your interactions with women because you're coming from scarcity. You have to learn to create certainty from within. Let's say you schedule a date and she flakes. Or you're texting with her and you're not getting a response for 12 hours. You freak out. Even though you're very good at creating certainty in some areas, may that be your fitness or your career or your business, in this area, you haven't created the habit of making yourself feel certain. But my friend, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just a habit. How can you create certainty? There's 4 sources of certainty or confidence, if you will. The first one is competence, learning the skill of dating. Number 2, it's a state. Certainty is a state you can learn to turn on by changing what you focus on. For example, she's not texting you back, or she canceled a date with you, or your dating app pipeline is dry, or you want to go and speak to somebody, but you're feeling a little bit nervous. What can you do? The first thing to create more certainty from within, by changing your focus onto something that you've already achieved in the past. You can do this right now, little exercise. Ask yourself, how much confidence, how much certainty, how much strength, how much faith in my own abilities do I experience at this point in time, right this second? Ask yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, where are you at? Okay, let's say you said 7. All right, now I want you to, if you're not driving, close your eyes. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. Remember a moment in your past where you achieved something. You worked hard to achieve something. There were obstacles you had to overcome, and you did it, and you're really proud of it. Just feel a moment, and don't just think it. Actually go into it. Remember that moment. Remember the struggle you've gone through. Feel it. Be there. What did other people say? What did you say to yourself? What did you experience in that point in time? Now add a second moment. What's another thing that you've achieved? Something that you achieved in your life that you're incredibly proud of. And now a third one. What is something else? It could be a date that went really well. Can you remember a moment where a woman expressed a lot of love and affection towards you in the moment? Remember that. Could be a moment of intimacy where you achieved something. Oh, that felt good. Think it. Feel it. Be there. Step into that moment right now. And now a fourth moment. What is something else that you did, not just for yourself, but for somebody else? Where you showed up as the most responsible version of yourself. Where you did something difficult, not for yourself, but for somebody else, and somebody's life was touched positively. Can be a family member, a friend, or somebody who doesn't even know you exist. Think about that right now. How does it feel? This second, my friend, right now. On a scale of 0 to 10, where are you at in terms of your own sense of certainty, strength, and pride and confidence? Oh, a little bit higher. Isn't that interesting? Maybe it went from a 7 to a 9. Maybe it went from a 4 to an 8. Maybe only 1 or 2 points up. This was 2 to 3 minutes. By changing your habits of what you focus on, you immediately change how you feel. If you have a habit of focusing on the things you suck at, which has served you well because it allowed you to find the delta between where you wanted to be and where you wanted to go and fill in the gap. That's great. That's why you're a functioning member of society, because you looked at the areas that you really needed to improve and you improved them. Amazing. That's great. The problem is, in a dating context, if you only focus on what you lack, it creates dissatisfaction. If you want to be the most confident and attractive and masculine version of yourself with the most amount of certainty, a man that women gravitate towards, you have to make it a habit to, for the majority of your day, focus on the things you've done well at. Because, as Tony Robbins says, you can only build on success. The thing that motivated you the most in your past was progress. Anytime you've seen yourself make progress, be it towards the next step in your career, you lost some weight, finances, in your dating, when you make progress, that's when you feel alive. But that just means if you change your focus towards the past and you look at the progress you've already made, which is something that you've been completely ignoring, you can instantly feel better about yourself. And it's not fake. It's earned. This doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you real. You treat people better if you feel better about yourself. Becoming more masculine means being a kinder version of yourself. If you create more certainty for yourself, you'll be able to create more certainties for your employees. You'll be able to create more certainty for your family members, for your kids, for your future wife. You will be a much more masculine and attractive version of yourself, but you have to make it a habit. It's not enough to do it now. It has to become a ritual. So, this does not mean that you shouldn't have a conscious time of reflection throughout the day where you analyze what you sucked at. You need to have that. When Fernanda gives me feedback and says, David, you are a little bit silly in that moment, I say, thank you, babe. You were right. And I admit to that. Now, sometimes in a relationship, a woman wants to be heard. She doesn't want you to agree immediately. Part of masculinity also means holding space. Maybe we'll touch on that later here today. And I say, babe, I understood the point immediately. No, listen to it. I'm going to tell you a couple more times. And again, and again, and again, because you wanted to feel heard, right? Yes, exactly. But you agree. I ask Fernanda regularly, how am I treating you? Be open to feedback. Don't become somebody who is so self-obsessed in an unhealthy way that you're not open to changing your behavior. But most of your day should be spent in radical self-affirmation. You will not be able to attract the woman that you want to have if you don't create a new habit of focusing on the things you've done well in the past. I'll tell you how much I've mastered this. I'm not sure if this is a skill that you can even be proud of, but in dating, if you do a lot of approaches, if you go on a lot of dates, if you're going to be effective, especially me being the best dating coach in the entire world, you have to be able to empower yourself because rejection hurts. I was walking this morning through Dublin, and it's not raining right now. I mean, it's pretty cloudy, but as long as it's not raining, it's great weather, but windy as hell. So I'm going for a walk, and I have this jacket off. I just have this jumper on. So I'm crossing the bridge, getting a bit windy. So I want to put this jacket on. But I anticipate that if I just put the jacket on, it may slip out of my hand and fall into the river. So, sounds like a silly example. Bear with me. Trust me, please. I put on the jacket, and as I'm about to put it on, if I hadn't held it very close, it would have fallen off the little bridge, and this very nice jacket, my favorite jacket, would have been gone. And in that moment, I say to myself, well done. Great job for anticipating. Leaders anticipate. May sound a little bit silly. I had a little chuckle with myself because obviously I didn't just cure world hunger in that moment. So it didn't inflate my ego, but it was a little moment of self-affirmation. You have to understand that you have 27 moments throughout the day where you're putting yourself down. It is going to be absolutely impossible for you as a man to be the most attractive version if you keep putting yourself down. First, you have to focus on the things you've done well at. Next, if you want to be the most masculine version of yourself, to create certainty, you have to focus on what you can control. If she cancels a date with you, you can focus on, is this ever going to work? Is she ever going to like me? Her liking you is not within your immediate realm of control. What can I control right now? Ask yourself in terms of your business, your career, your finances, your fitness, what can you control right now? In terms of your dating, what can you control right now? You could get good outfits right now. Get good pictures taken. Build an amazing Hinge profile. You could go and socialize a little bit. You could go and build a really good Instagram. You could do all these things. But the second you direct your focus by changing a couple of questions, you become aware that that's what you can do. And it immediately creates certainty from within. Certainty is created by what you focus on. Not just the things you've done well in the past or today, but what you can do right now. And then you got to translate that into action. Because if it just stays in the realm of mental masturbation, then it won't have the desired long-term effect because it won't give you the outcomes. So the empowered mental and emotional state is supposed to move you in action, because we've heard a lot of the times on the internet that one of the hallmarks of masculinity is ignoring your emotions. And in one paradigm, that's absolutely true. Regardless of how motivated you feel, you got to do the right thing. You got to go to the gym. You got to work. You got to go and socialize. And isn't it interesting that the times we should socialize the most, that's when we feel the least like socializing? So from that paradigm, you have to do the things that you need to do, even if you don't feel like it. But we've all had it where we felt so much anger, frustration, we felt sad, deflated, fear, stress, that we weren't able to do the right thing. The negativity, the severity of the negative emotion surpassed a threshold where we felt unable. So what does Tony Robbins say? You make yourself feel like doing it. If you want 15 years of personal development, I've learned from one of the best psychologists in Germany. I've learned from some of the best people in the space of personal development, motivation, mindset, psychology. I'm not a psychologist myself, but I've coached hundreds of men from 40 plus countries. What I'm teaching you works. Making yourself feel like doing it works. You change your state, and then the right actions follow. How do you change your state? Your focus, Tony Robbins triad. The next thing is your inner dialogue. How do you talk to yourself? Well done. Amazing. Good job. Well done. Amazing. Good job. You would be surprised what happens with your internal emotional reality if you tell yourself that 24 times throughout the day. If you have 24 additional interaction points with yourself that are of a powerful and empowering and loving nature, that'll shift your mood. The relationship you have with yourself is the most fundamental, basic starting point for you to be able to have an empowering, loving relationship with an amazing woman and for her to feel attracted to you. Now, the relationship that you have with yourself is not carved in stone. It is something you co-create at any given point in time. You create it right here, right now, by what you focus on and how you talk to yourself. And isn't it interesting? Sometimes there's one part in us that goes, you know what? I don't really feel like going on a date right now. The last one didn't go so well. She lost interest in me, even though I thought we had a great date. And there's another part in you that goes, well, I would really like some physical intimacy. I would really like to push myself and challenge myself. And you need to align these parts within you. Recognize them. Allow the thought to arise in the space of loving awareness. When it comes to being masculine, it doesn't mean not having negative or disempowering thoughts. They will come. But being masculine does not mean entertaining them. You cannot entertain disempowering thoughts for too long. We're all going to have them, but are you going to give them power? How long are you going to stay with that self-defeating dialogue? Are you going to associate with the thought? How is this ever supposed to work? No woman is ever going to like a ginger. I have vampire teeth. Whatever your version of your self-defeating inner monologue may be. Do you believe it? Do you associate with it? Or do you allow the thought to arise in the space of loving awareness, as Jack Kornfield would say? You look at it and you go, oh, the self-critical mind. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you so much. I'm okay right now. You don't push them away because whatever you resist persists, but you also don't give it energy because the only thoughts that have power over you, my friend, are the thoughts you choose to believe. Let me say this again. The only thoughts that have power over you, my brother, are the thoughts you choose to believe. And the thoughts you empower, you affirm, you condition within your own mind on a day-to-day basis will shape your destiny because thoughts, they lead to your actions, and your actions, they lead to results. So if there's a negative thought that arises, you say, oh, interesting. Thank you for your opinion. And Jack Kornfield says awareness can't just be there. It has to be loving awareness. Because if we just become aware of our own insufficiencies or these negative thoughts, have you ever gotten upset at yourself for being upset? Have you ever gotten upset at yourself for being in a negative mood? If you're a high achiever, if you're a man who's ambitious, you're young and ambitious, you're old and rich, you're something in between. If you're somebody who likes to take action, you get upset at yourself for not being productive. You get upset at yourself for not being in the best mood possible. Yeah, that fucking helps. Recognize where you are and then make a decision to change it. Change your state. Change how you talk to yourself. You have that vehicle available to yourself at any given point in time. You are fully in control of the words you utter to yourself. Now, it's not just the words you utter in your own head. It's the words you say out loud. Do you sometimes catch yourself having a bit of a negative, self-defeating dialogue? And that doesn't mean that you can't, outer dialogue. That doesn't mean that you can't vent. Every once in a while, you can vent. I vented to my business partner earlier about something. 5 minutes. Amazing. I felt heard. Nice. And I was able to move on. This was not me being weak. This was me just venting. It's okay. Share your thoughts. Being masculine does not mean not asking for help. If you're a man and you're not doing well, ask for help. Find somebody. Find a therapist. Find a dating coach. Find a finance coach. Hug your friends. Hug your family members. More time in social contact. Being masculine does not mean not asking for help. If you're going through a rough time in your life right now, ask somebody for help. Don't wait. Don't try to solve these things by yourself. Get a hug. The number one thing you can do for your own mental and emotional well-being is social contact. You need to ask for help. You're not meant to be by yourself. We don't solve anything by ourselves. There's not a single person in this world who's done anything by themselves, even though it may look like it. Get a therapist. Talk to male friends. Get advice. And sometimes all it takes is a 10-minute conversation. Then they're like, hey, bro, I don't need advice right now. I just want you to hear me. Or, hey, I actually need your advice right now. Or maybe a combination thereof. Ask for it. It's perfectly fine. But then don't rely on other people to make you feel good on a day-to-day basis. So on the one hand, you need social contact every single day to feel good. Every single day, social contact. Way more than you think. But I'm an introvert. An introvert just gets more dopamine from social interactions than extroverts. So you satiate quicker and you need less. I get it. But we still need a lot more social contact than we thought. The number one reason you suffered in the past is because you didn't spend enough time with quality male friends or family members. The times you've suffered most as a man, that was when you were by yourself or in the company of loved ones. By yourself. Ask for help. But you have to have your own rituals. What you focus on. Your inner dialogue. How you talk to yourself. And it's a habit. Affirmations, incantations. A little work task, then you can say, fuck yeah, that was amazing. Fuck yeah, that was amazing. Really good. After this video, I will have a critical analysis of all the mistakes that I've made, how I could have done it better, and I'll go, whoa, that was amazing. I will look at it, I'll take the lessons from it, where I said or maybe where I went off on a tangent and I didn't find back to the point coherently. There'll be 27 more things that I want to put in this video that I won't. That's okay. I've been making thousands of videos on the internet for 11 years. If I would have put myself down after shooting a video like this, I wouldn't have kept going. If you want to watch my videos from 11 years, wow, they sucked. They were really bad. They were really, really bad. But I wouldn't have been able to build a following on social media of 2 million people across all platforms if I hadn't encouraged myself, if I hadn't filmed a shitty video and told myself that was amazing and reflected on what I could have done better. You want 2 things, self-reflection, self-improvement, constant, never-ending improvement, Kanai, as Tony calls it, and radical self-empowerment. Because if you empower yourself, being masculine as a man, that allows you to empower other people. The third part of the triad, the third part of your daily rituals, I apologize if I'm touching my nose. We're in a forest here. It's windy as hell. My ears are hurting. It's very cold, but we're doing it here for you. A little bit of nature energy. The third part is physiology. The times that I was the most stressed in my life, I changed my physiology with a 30-minute run. Many years ago when I started my own business and there was financial pressure, Let's say there was a deal that didn't close and we needed the money. I would go for a run in the rain, in the winter, wet, come back, boom, feel strong. If you need to change how you feel, go through your body first. The parts in your brain that are responsible for the unconscious are much stronger than the conscious. Have you ever tried thinking yourself out of a bad mood and it didn't really work? Interesting, huh? If you change your body by jumping up and down, breathing exercises, going to a gym, getting a hug from a friend, doing 300 push-ups over the course of an hour, doing 100 pull-ups over the course of an hour, it is the single fastest way to change how you feel. An ice bath, sauna, meditation. Meditation actually activates all three of those. Change the way you use your body. Gunther Schmidt in Germany says, wie es dir geht, so geht's. Sorry, wie du gehst, so geht's. Wie du gehst, so geht's. That means it's not some 1944 type of talk. It literally just means how you're going, that's how it's going. Anytime you're walking somewhere, you're hypnotizing yourself. Gunther Schmidt is the founder of hypnosystemic therapy. He was a direct student of Milton Erickson, an icon in the field of psychology. He founded hypnotherapy, and then Gunther Schmidt combined it with a systemic approach, so he calls it hypnosystemic therapy. If you change the way you walk, or any type of walk you have, actually has a measurable impact on your brain chemistry. So, if you start walking slightly differently, in a more empowered way, it changes how you feel. If you put your shoulders down, the difference, watch me, my friend, the difference between walking like this and this can be a 30-40% change in mood over the course of 7 minutes. Put on a song, have a little bit of motion, a little bit of swagger when you're going to the supermarket, when you're taking a break, you're going for a coffee, going for a little walk, come back, boom, your productivity is going to be better. We're doing these things not just so we can feel good about ourselves in our mind, but being a masculine man means taking action. It means being as productive as humanly possible. And most of us are not working in a factory anymore. So we need to be as productive, which means making good decisions. One good decision in a day can be better than 9 hours of work. Now, you're going to do both. You're going to have the 9, 12, 13 hours of work, 16 hours of work that day, and you need good decision making. You need your brain to function optimally. You know that one bad conversation with a client, one bad conversation with an employee can cost you tens of thousands of dollars, maybe more. I've had a client the other day, business owner in the US, who I did certain exercises with. One time he gets on a call, he says, David, I'm really not feeling it. I'm doing certain exercises with him. Very, very powerful stuff. Some of the things I'm sharing with you here today and some more advanced things. Within 7 minutes, he went from a little bit deflated to very strong. And then the beautiful thing was 2 weeks later, he told me he had a moment where he didn't feel that great. He was about to cancel a meeting with a client because he was so overworked. And then the day before didn't go well. He had a date go well the day before that, but that date didn't go as well as he'd hoped. Plus, life got busy, so he was a little bit deflated, he told me. He was about to cancel a very important meeting with a client. Then he changed his state. 5-10 minutes, he went in there and crushed the meeting. This has a measurable impact on your effectiveness as a man. Being masculine as a man refers to creating certainty from within. That is the first component on becoming a more attractive version of yourself. The second component that makes you more attractive as a man, more masculine, is the systemic component, creating an environment that increases the probability that you'll be able to show up the best version of yourself. I think it's very unlikely that you will be truly confident and masculine as a man if you don't have people in your life who want to see you win. Quality male friends. You may have heard me talk about it at length, but you're not doing it. You're still not doing it. You're still not spending enough time with quality male friends. Or are you? If you are, amazing. Probably you're not. My invitation for you is call a friend. Even just a 45-minute, 15-minute phone call with a friend can make you feel loved. Who can you meet right now? What existing friends can you meet more often? What new friends can you make? And who do you have to cut? Because I feel so bad for most men because they have really average friendships. Most of the friendships they have with men are very average. because they don't share the same values. Their personalities are not that compatible. They don't truly want to see you win. Some do, double down on them, and then maybe fade the other ones out and get new ones. David, where do I meet new friends? The gym. Hey, bro, would you mind spotting me? Awesome. By the way, you really jacked. I saw you doing that triceps pull down earlier. Amazing. One compliment. It's the easiest thing in the whole world. Fernando's smiling. It's the easiest thing in the world. Fernando's like, you'd never talk to people in the gym. Is that it? My Fernandina is a little bit more introverted. It's the easiest thing in the world to make friends with men. Hey, bro. Awesome form. How long have you been coming here? How long did you come here? How long have you been coming here? A really boring opener in a dating context. Don't ever ask women in a bar, by the way. So do you come here often? Boring. You gotta stand out. Probably still stuck in communicating with women. By the way, if you want to help with that personally, apply for a free initial consultation. But coming back to quality male friends, talk to them in the gym. Talk to them in the sauna. I've made plenty of friends in the gym. You make friends in life when you talk to everybody. I believe my interpretation of masculinity has a communal aspect. Talking to people, making the Uber driver feel good. Now, granted, sometimes I'm going to be in the Uber black at the back just working. In fairness, that's most of the time. 80% of the time, I want to be productive. I don't want to engage in small talk. But I know that for my state and for my sense of being at home in the world, I will have to, unfortunately, engage with people. But it makes you feel amazing. It makes you feel at home in the world. If you can add a little bit of positivity here, add a little bit of positivity here, add a little bit of positivity here, it makes you grounded. We've all had this, where we're in the gym and maybe you feel a little bit tense, or unconsciously it feels a little bit hostile. You talk to one person and immediately it breaks this invisible wall of hostility that you perceive and you feel great. You walk into an environment where people know you feel amazing. Oh, that's my tribe. You can create new tribes. The systemic element is not to be underestimated. It'll boost your testosterone. It'll make you happier. It'll boost your confidence to spend time with men who are truly confident, who truly want to see you win, who are on your side, who are loyal. They are there. Take some more action. They're waiting for you. There are friends that you haven't made yet. There are men in the world right now that are waiting for you to take the first step, my friend. They're waiting for you. But they're not watching this video right now, so they don't even know that you can, as an adult, make new quality male friends. Your happiness in life will go up so drastically. Your level of masculinity will increase so much if you just spend more time with quality male friends. It's my plea. Do it. It costs nothing to spend more time with quality male friends. Zero. But it has the single greatest ROI on your time, other than finding the right girlfriend or wife. So, when it comes to the systemic element, it is not just the people, even though that's the most important thing. You then also have to start looking at your habits. What makes you attractive in the eyes of a woman? Social proof. Having a life that you enjoy. Going dancing, going to jiu-jitsu. Having the right nutritional habits. Supplements. Counting your calories. I lost quite a bit of weight last year. I used to be in shape. I used to teach and train martial arts, never at a professional level, but I used to teach karate at my university. And then, when the world locked down a little bit, I stopped moving and then I put on a little bit of weight. And then a friend of mine, he's the best weight loss coach in Germany. So I asked him for help and I lost a significant amount of weight in 3 months. Why? Because I asked for strategies. It was counting calories, changing my nutrition, supplementing, increasing protein. By the way, I wouldn't have done any of that if he hadn't solved my mindset problem first. Because as Tony Robbins says, 80% of success is mindset. 20% is tactics and strategies. Do you know what my limiting belief was to losing weight? I'm already in a relationship. Fernanda loves me. Do you know what Fernandinha calls me? Leitãozinho. What does it mean, babe? It's a little piglet. A little pig. It's Portuguese for pig. She likes me being her pig. She hides chocolate around the house. And I'm like, oh, where's the chocolate? We have our little games. That's called betaization, by the way. They're going to try to take the so-called alpha, silly little term, and try to turn it into a fat little beta so no other woman likes you. She's like nodding the head behind the camera. Yeah, I want you fat. She's like, you're too thin. You're too muscular. And on the one hand, you really like it, but on the other hand, it's probably also a threat, if you will. But you don't actually want me fat. Kind of. A little bit. Huh? Just a late tonzini. She hides that around the house. Obviously, I assume 100% responsibility because I'm the one putting it in my mouth. But there's a systemic element to that. My mindset problem was, I'm already in a relationship. Why do I need to lose weight? What's going to change? How is my life going to improve if I lose weight? And then he comes to me and he says, shut up. Shut up. What are you talking about? He's more German than me. He's not quite as dramatic. He said it, bro, what are you talking about? That's nonsense. And he goes, your testosterone is going to increase. The number one factor for reduced testosterone is excess body fat. Oh, interesting. I want more testosterone. So he found what resonated with me. And my well-being went up. Amazing. Guess what happens when you have a long-term relationship? You become more productive in your business. You're telling me you don't have time to date? You don't have time to find the right girlfriend or wife? Why? Because you're busy. Do you want to get better business outcomes? Do you want to do better in your career? Do you want to be happier? Do you want to have higher testosterone? All these are positive side effects of being in a relationship. There is zero excuse. So it's mindset. It's a limiting belief because our beliefs are just thoughts. Thoughts, beliefs, convictions, all the same thing, just different levels of certainty. Lead to action, lead to results. So you need to make sure your habits are on point so they make you as masculine as humanly possible. And the third component when it comes to being as masculine as humanly possible is your communication. I've met plenty of men, clients, and in life who check a lot of the boxes, are in shape, kind people, hardworking, suck in their communication with women, can't set boundaries at all. Setting a boundary, being very calm and grounded and saying, that's not okay. Listen, I'm going to go and spend time with my friends tonight. Very calm. But protecting the fulfillment of your own needs is incredibly attractive to the right woman. Now, Fernanda and I were having a conversation yesterday and this morning because I want her needs to be met. This is not just what I'm going to do whatever I want and she'll adapt to it or she'll leave. No, I want her needs to be met. We're having conversations. If there's something where I'm lacking, where I'm doing something that doesn't make you happy, tell me. I'm open to feedback. Again, extremely important. Look at your own insufficiencies and then empower yourself. But you also have to learn to set a boundary. Let her invest in you. That goes way deeper than today. That could be a 4-hour conversation in and of itself. But changing the way you communicate, changing the words you utter, that makes you so much more attractive. And it is a prerequisite for creating and sustaining attraction. Sometimes men get the right girlfriend or wife and then they lose them because the communication sucks. You can lose the right woman if your communication sucks. But it's just a skill set. I used to suck at it. With my ex-wife, I didn't know how to communicate effectively. I would agree to things I didn't want to agree to. Very subtly. I would chase her validation. Do I like it when Fernanda gives me validation when she goes, oh, we filmed 120 Instagram Reels yesterday and she goes, I'm so proud of you. That feels amazing. Great. But I don't do it for that reason. You can't depend on her approval. Now, you have to depend on her happiness. But guess what? If you find somebody you're compatible with, most likely the activities that you engage in will meet both of your needs. It's not either or. 95% of the conflicts you could have in a relationship, you won't have if you're compatible. So, my friend, here's my invitation. Learn to create certainty from within. Take care of your habits. Create a system, environments, patterns that reinforce masculinity from a day-to-day perspective. And then please work on your communication skills. If you become an effective communicator, you can let your true colors shine. It's not about talking like me. It's not about talking like somebody else. You find your own way to authentically communicate. But please study the best practices of building attraction. Because otherwise it doesn't matter who you are. You can have the best product. If the marketing sucks, it won't make it into the hands of the right woman. I wish you all the best. Take care.